Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here. Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing, man? Antonelli here, and today we're answering your questions. I get asked a lot about being starstruck the first time I saw Major League players, and I want to tell a story. I've told kind of parts of this story at times on our channel, and this is the time that I was, that I'd say that was probably the closest to being starstruck, or the first time. I did tell a little bit about playing Manny Ramirez and Nomar Garciaparra, and I was a little bit like drooling on myself playing Manny Ramirez because he's my favorite player of all time. But this is the time against the Chicago Cubs, the first time I was ever on a field with playing against Major League players. And it was my very first spring training ever and my very first spring training game of all time against the Cubs at their spring training complex. So let's go back, talk about it, talk kind of my feelings and thoughts as this is happening. So I'd just been drafted in 2006 in the first round by the Padres, and I had played short season ball. So once you get drafted in June, the draft's in June, you go and you play short season ball, but you're playing against a lot of kids your age, a lot of guys that you just got drafted with, right? And so it's not that much different from college. You play with, you play as a professional, and you get paid to play, and you play with a wood bat instead of a metal bat. But you're playing, the competition is somewhat similar. It's a little bit better, obviously, but it's not that crazy of a difference from college. Well, that season ends. The next season, 2007, now you go to spring training. And I go to regular spring training, minor league spring training. I'm not going to big league spring training yet, right? This is my first spring training experience. I have no idea how spring training works. I show up, first day, we're out there working out. Now I'm from Massachusetts. I haven't done anything. I haven't been able to get on a field. I've just been in a little tiny batting facility in a little tiny tunnel hitting, batting practice and off a tee, and I've been throwing a little bit, and I've been fielding ground balls from somebody rolling them to me. And that's been happening for like 5 months. And so I show up to spring training and I'm thinking, okay, I've got like 2 months now to kind of get back into the flow of things, field ground balls and all that stuff. So we're out just kind of working out on the side field. I don't even think everyone's even there yet. And so the minor league players, major leaguers have been there for a couple of weeks now because major league spring training starts before minor league spring training. And so I'm working out and I got a brand new Nike glove. I had a Nike sponsorship. You couldn't even close it. It was like a rock. And I was like, well, I got 2 months to break this bad boy in. So I guess I'll be okay. Hopefully 2 months is enough. And so after the workout, I get called over. There's a group of us and they say, okay, couple guys going to the big league game today, Freeze and this guy and Antonelli. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm going to the big league game. And so they say, all right, go pack up. You got your uniform in the locker, go over there, jump on the bus with them. You're going over to Chicago. So now I'm like nervous. Now I'm like, whoa, I'm going to a major league game right now. Like I haven't played baseball. I haven't done anything in 5 months and okay, cool. So I go into the clubhouse, and first thing's weird, you walk in, and you've got all these major leaguers around, right? And again, I know I've been drafted, and I was drafted pretty high, but I've never been around a Major League Baseball player before, other than like sitting at Fenway Park, watching them play from the stands. And so, you walk in, and you've got you've got Trevor Hoffman over here, and at that time, like Greg Maddux, and, Brian Giles, and you got all these guys. And so, who else was there? I think Mike Cameron was there. And so you see all these guys for the first time. And so I'm putting on my uniform and you jump on the bus and you head over to Mesa, Arizona, where the Cubs play. And this whole time I'm thinking okay, I'm just going to watch the game. I'm not playing in the game. I'm just going to be on the bench and I'm not going to do anything. And maybe it's just to get experience, be around the guys, see what big leaguers are like and everything. Again, keep in mind, I haven't faced a pitcher in 5 months. I haven't done anything. I've hit BP off my dad, basically. And I got this glove that's like as hard as this desk right here. And so, game starts and I'm not starting. I'm on the bench. I'm just watching. And it's pretty cool. I'm sitting on the bench and I'm in the dugout. And the Cubs are pretty good. I don't know what their record was, but they've got a lot of veteran players. So they got Aramis Ramirez at third. They got Derek Lee at first. They got Alfonso Soriano. They've got all these guys, pretty big name guys. And Chicago is one of those. Even in spring training, there's just kind of a feel. you've got a lot of people from Chicago flying down to spring training. Like, they're all excited because it's warm in Arizona and it's cold in Chicago at this time. And there's just an atmosphere at the ballpark that's really fun. And I don't know, it's different than any game I've played in, even though it's not a real game of spring training. And I'm watching all these guys and I'm like, man, oh man, I'm like, look at all these guys out here. This is crazy. Like, I'm not playing against them, but I'm watching them, and I have a Padres uniform on. And all of a sudden I get a tap on my shoulder like this. And I can remember this really vividly. I get a tap and I kind of turn around, and it's our bench coach, and he's like, hey, get stretched out. You're going in the third. And I'm like, I wonder what my face looked like, because I never expected this to happen. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I don't even have a glove. Like, literally, the glove won't close. I still haven't fielded like ground balls or anything yet. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm going into a game that's on television against Aramis Ramirez and all these guys, Alfonso Soriano, and I haven't done anything. So I go in the third, and I'm sitting there, and I'm probably like, wow, look at this guy. Look at that guy I'm playing. Oh, there's hi, Alfonso, hi. And so, first ball, Aramis Ramirez hits a ball that went past me 150 miles an hour. I didn't even move. I was like getting ready, right? I'm used to my dad rolling me a ball on the turf 3 days ago. And I'm ready, and boom, he hits this ball, and it goes past me so fast. It's like, I feel like Roger Dorn.
Come on, Dorn, get in front of the damn ball. Don't give me this Olay bullshit.
And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, that ball was that was awesome. Like, that ball was smoked. I'm supposed to field it, but so then I get there's bases loaded. And this is bad, guys. This is very bad. There's bases loaded, and I'm playing in, and they hit me a ground ball, and I field this ground ball, and I'm like, oh man, I fielded it in this rock hard glove. All right. I'm like, now I got to throw it home. I haven't thrown a ball in a baseball field in a long time. I'm a little excited.
I'm very excited to be here.
And I throw this ball home 100 miles an hour, and our catcher's like this, and the ball goes right past the catcher at about 100. I honestly don't think he could move to catch it, because I threw it so hard, and I'm infield in, and I feel that thing. I'm probably like 60 feet away at this point. Now, maybe like 70 feet away. And I feel like I take a crow hop and I throw this thing, and it goes smash up against the backstop, and guys are and guys are running around. Some guy from the stands say, hey, put a tent over that circus. And it's bad. But I'm having fun out there. I'm like, yeah, well, hey, Alfonso, as he's running the bases. And so now I feel like an idiot. But I'm still starstruck. I'm not like, it hasn't registered in my brain yet, I don't think, that I'm playing in the game. I'm not watching the game, I'm not hanging out. This isn't a video game, I'm not watching on TV. I'm playing in the game, Matt. Figure it out. And it took me about a day or so to get over that feeling and finally get accustomed to it. And I did get an at-bat that game. I went in and hit against Carlos Marmol. I've told this story. And even when I'm hitting against Carlos Marmol, I'm in this mode where I'm like, I'm trying to be big league. So like everything I'm doing is a conscious thought. Usually you get in, you just go through your routine and you're like ready to go. And I'm thinking I'm facing Carlos Marmol. At this point, like, he's a really good reliever. And I'm like, I'm going through my thing here. And I'm like trying to be like too cool for school. I'm thinking, like, what am I doing right now? Like, I was trying to do all this stuff like what a big leaguer would do it like. And I wasn't playing the game, but I did hit a ball somehow. Again, I haven't faced a live pitcher in forever. Hit a ball to center field, sac fly, was man on third. I sack him in, come in, and like, yeah, I can pounce everybody. Like, feeling cool, feeling good. And I think I was 0 for 0 for the day with a sac fly. But it's still, I guess it was a little bit embarrassing I threw that ball away. But I was definitely pretty starstruck and not comfortable at all. And I do think this is part of the reason why they call you up, part of the reason why they just throw you in the fire, to get you accustomed to that. Because then very quickly after that, you start, after you start playing against major leaguers a lot, then you just kind of feel like you're one of the guys. Not really one of the... I know these guys are a lot better than me. Some of them are much better than me. Like when we're playing Seattle, playing Ken Griffey Jr. and stuff. Like, I know these guys are at one time were way better than me and probably still are way better than me. But you start to just feel like, okay, I'm not playing against the name on the back of the jersey anymore. I'm just kind of playing against somebody. And that is a tip that I did actually receive, that said, a coach has said, you can't be playing against the name on the back of the jersey. If when you're playing the big leagues and you're always thinking about like, oh, I'm playing Max Scherzer, oh, I'm playing Mike Trout, or, you're going to get intimidated and you're going to not do well if you're always thinking about, how good they are because of their name and because you've watched them on TV and all that. And you've got to get over that and just kind of play the game. I think that's important. And I think that's, again, why they try to call guys up. They give you experience. People talk about getting experience. Like some of it is, being able to see a good breaking ball and get used to the ball being hit at you at a certain speed, because big leaguers hit it really hard. But another part of it is being accustomed to playing against those type of guys that you've watched for so long on TV. You got to remember, like a year before that, I'm in college watching all these guys on TV. And then a year later, you're playing against the guys. It's a very strange thing. And so you got to get used to that. So hopefully that all makes sense. Thanks for the questions. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give it a thumbs up, share with all your friends, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you later. If you've enjoyed this video and want to learn more about building the elite swing, check out our new course. We have over 2 hours of content, almost 30 hitting drills. We break down the exact mechanics that you're going to want to implement into your swing. I've put the link in the description if you want to go check it out.